What's going on, world? It's your boy Boom here for This Is 50. And today we got Melanie Iglesias in the building right now, or on Zoom chat. You know, if you haven't heard of her, she's a well-known model, actress, comedian, and now turned singer. And she's been doing her thing on the music biz for a little bit now. And we're going to talk to her and get to know everything else we need to know about her. So let's do it. Let me invite her into the room real quick. What's going on, Pimp? Say hi to the people out there. Say hi to everybody at This Is 50.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
All right. So, man, you got so many accolades going on that you've been doing this whole for over a decade now, right? It's been
in entertainment,
Yeah. So you started out modeling, right? You started out as a model, you know, got a buzz there with the whole Maximum's Hot 100 or Hot Hotties, and it grew into television with you on Guy Code, Girl Code, Guy Court, and then you got into doing comedy, right? You got into doing stand-up.
Pretty much. My career went the opposite of literally every legendary person ever. So back on MySpace days, like what, 2007, 8, I was a little girl, and I had a MySpace page and I had music on it, and my music started getting popular, and I was even getting called into like label meetings and stuff. And then things were going well, except for like I had to get over my shyness. But the meetings, I was getting good feedback on stuff, and people seemed to be interested in what I was doing. And then literally went out for a crazy night with my friends, like drunk in karaoke, smoked a little bit. The next day I woke up, had laryngitis. My voice never came back for 8 years. So what happened was I had to find, I still had this burning desire to be an entertainer. You know what I mean? So I submitted to like modeling contests like for Maxim, and I ended up winning that contest. And then that, like you said, it led to a lot of other opportunities with MTV and hosting and stuff like that. And then I started doing stand-up because I was the only non-comedian on all of those MTV shows. And I would perform with, I would like host the mics for the comics, and I would sneak in some jokes, and the jokes would hit, and I'd be like, oh, wait, this is so cool. I can't write music anymore, but I can write jokes. And I started writing comedy, and now I'm full circle because my voice healed and I'm singing again. So.
All right, and now you've been singing since you were 16, right? Or you've been writing songs since you were 16?
Yeah, my dad's a musician, so we would always like write songs together growing up, and he was very musically inclined.
Does he still help you with the songs now, or?
Yeah, he loves when I come home because we get to write together. I have a few videos, maybe I'll send you some, but it's like of him with the guitar and me just singing, and he learned how to play my whole EP on the guitar so we could jam out together. He's really cute. He's a good dad.
And then with everything going on now, as far as like YouTube and live streaming and everybody on quarantine right now, you can put on your own little in-home concerts and have your dad playing in the background, have him playing all the songs for you.
I wish. He's in New York. I'm in LA. I'm stuck here. I keep telling him, come pick me up because I don't want to fly. I was like, come get me. But you know, I wish. If I was in New York, we'd definitely be making music every day. He wants me to move back just so that we can like have jam sessions together and stuff. It's cute.
All right. And then speaking of quarantine, how's it been like for you as far as quarantining? How have you kept busy, or how have you kept motivated and whatnot?
It's been actually very challenging. I'm a very empathetic person, so when I feel all this darkness in the world and how chaotic everything is, it's hard for me to find inspiration in that. I know a lot of people like to write when they're feeling moody, but I actually have to be in a clear headspace to write and see my feelings. When I'm actually feeling all these things, it's kind of like it's hard to like take myself out of it and remove myself from it, and you know, get a different perspective like while it's all happening. But I mean, I know that after this is all done, I'll have so much to say because I feel like I've been very introspective and learning a lot, and I've just been focusing more on like actually becoming better as a person as opposed to like, let me make all this music and put all these songs out and everything. I mean, I still plan on releasing stuff, but as far as creating, I really haven't been that motivated, to be honest with you. It's tough. It's been challenging.
Okay. And then you've just barely transitioned into music from all your other entertainment endeavors. I guess I would ask, man, like, what got you back into music after being so successful with everything else as far as acting, comedy, and just modeling? Like, you still,
You
I'm sure
know,
you're still getting booked for all three opportunities. So,
I actually wasn't happy modeling. I feel like modeling gave me a lot of body image issues. Feeling like I have to always look perfect when I leave the house. Have an interview, got to be made up, and I just like ran and did my hair, and like it messed with my head because I wasn't the kind of person growing up who would care about those things. You know, my outward appearance and stuff like that. And I really wasn't happy or necessarily fulfilled. I was extremely lucky because it blessed me with a lot of money to pursue my real passions and pursue things that I actually really care about. And I got a lot of perspective from just, you know, from a writer's point of view, that's like all you can ask for. If you want to try as many different things and have perspective, and I think it brought me a lot of things I wouldn't have been able to obtain otherwise, like my audience and my engagement with my fans and stuff. They're still supporting me years later. But what brought me back to music was that, like I said, one day 2 years ago, I was in my kitchen singing this jazz song, and I was like, wait, I hit that note. What happened? And then my roommate at the time, he's an engineer. He was like, hey, can I record you singing some jazz standards? And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, let's do it. You know, so we did. And I've been just nonstop ever since. I went to the doctor, they put a camera down my throat, so my nodules healed up. And I should mention, like, when I was modeling and like on TV and all that stuff, I couldn't really handle the spotlight. I was getting anxiety. Like, I was living in Times Square at the time. Lots of fans would stop me. It was like, I'm just one person. I grew up in Brooklyn. I'm used to like doing everything by myself. So the idea of me pushing a laundry cart to the laundromat and then got big ass dudes are like stopping me, like, yo, we get a picture. I'm like, oh my God, like, oh, I just want to go do my laundry. Please, I don't want to take pictures right now. And it just messed with my head a bit. Also, you know, I felt like, I talk about this in my stand-up a lot, but like, I felt like I was giving young women a false image to aspire towards, you know, between like every picture, like no matter how perfect you look, gets airbrushed. You know, you have to think about what you're eating, you keep your skin clear and all this stuff. And you have 10, 20 people working on you, and they still find things to tweak in the after effects and stuff. And, you know, so I quit, and I was like, but I had girls still come up to me every day like, oh my God, Melanie, I'm a huge fan. I have your modeling photo in my refrigerator for inspiration. I go, oh my God, me too. Nobody looks like that, you know? So I just wanted to get back to like the things that actually made me happy. Like, I was in musical theater in school. I was always like doing shows and performing, and those are things that made me like being part of a team. Because, you know, when you're an artist, you need your team. You're only as successful as your team is. And I love like team efforts and visualizing things and making them come to life. And this, even though I'm not necessarily you know, because I'm a new artist, I'm not seeing the numbers that the numbers I was seeing, like, let's say when I was making like viral, like flipbook videos, like sexy stuff, I feel 10 times more fulfilled doing this. And my ultimate goal is just to end up writing for the artists that I grew up loving. You know, like, I would love to like pen a song for like Mariah Carey or Janet Jackson, like that comeback song. That's like the ultimate dream.
okay. And then, as far as you making music, you put a lot of your personal life and your vulnerability into your music, and it comes out like it resonates into like inspirational and, you know, successful, even viral. Now you have your song "Context" did 100,000 streams already today. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's crazy because it was like in under a month too that Context streamed over 100,000. And during quarantine, where I didn't feel like promoting it, to be honest with you, I know my team was like, get on TikTok and do this, and I'm just like, ah. So the fact that people liked it that many times meant so much to me, because I don't want to beg people or lash out on people like I've seen some other artists do. Like, you know, I don't know. It's also like a weird time for everybody. So I'm trying to be sensitive to the fact that, like, for instance, I'm not listening to that much music right now. You know what I mean? There's like a few artists who could take me out of this like mood, but so I feel real blessed. I feel really blessed that, you know, between me putting out this EP and the last time I was on TV, it's been like 4 or 5 years, you know? So the fact that my audience is still disengaged with what I'm doing, I don't know why or how or what I did right or what I'm doing to obtain that, but I think it's just like, it just boils down to like authenticity. And yeah, I think I always, you know, make sure I'm gracious and say thank you to everybody who streams my songs. If I see it, I'm saying thank you. Like if you send me a screenshot, I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is hard. I feel like a lot of, sorry, I'm ranting, but I feel like so many public figures will like, let me try music now, right? And there's like this disconnect there. And I don't feel inherently entitled to anybody giving myself a stream just because they didn't follow me for that initially. So I feel like I have a little bit more to prove in that sense, you know? So I don't want to like force it down people's throats. I'm like, I'm willing to earn their respect. So.
Okay. And then, I mean, as far as the singles go, you have Tell Me, you have Obvious, you have Life's a Bee, and you have Context, of course. And then you have the new one, Mr. Magoo, right? Which is hilarious. What made you think about that old school cartoon? Like, that's like 1950s, 60s, like.
So my mom loved Mr. Magoo growing up, so that always stuck with me. I did watch the show growing up a bit. When she would watch it, she would like put it on for me. But I was actually in my orthodontist chair a few months ago, like back in the fall maybe, and it's a first time consultation. He's like, hey, you have 2 wisdom teeth on top of each other. We got to get them out. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's do this one. Can we get them done? So he steps out the office and he's talking to his secretary and she starts laughing and she goes, oh, you're such a Mr. Magoo. And I was like, no, I don't want Mr. Magoo pulling out these teeth. I literally went the next day to a new appointment with a new doctor and then I had a studio session after that. And I told the guy, my producer, Ilion, what happened, and he was cracking up. And I was like, I want to write a song about a guy who can't see like what's in front of him. And it just stuck with me. I write faster when I have something already like a theme in my head. Like I like to write in themes.
No doubt. And then for Life is a Bee, you had one, you pretty much like took everybody on the other side of the camera lens, correct? And then showed them that, yeah, all the fame and glamour is great, but this is what I'm going through after all the lights and the cameras are shot. And after the set, like what made you dig that deep into it and put together the words that you found?
To be honest, I didn't think about it like that. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna write this song because I want to say this. It was just what came out. I almost didn't put that song out because it's so real and it's one of the hardest things I ever went through in my life. Like I've been through a few relationships, whatever, no big deal. But losing your best friend when they're not dead, like they're just out there somewhere, but you guys are total strangers, that shit hurts, you know? So I just write because it's cathartic and it feels good. It's like therapy to see my thoughts on paper and be like, because they get all jumbled in here. So when I put them out and I organize them and I see my thoughts, it's part of the healing process, you know? And that's why you do it. And then when I heard it, everybody's like, this is my favorite song. And it wasn't my favorite song. And I wanted to put Obvious out as the single, you know, it always happens. And put Obvious out, people were like, oh, this was cool. But then I put out Elizabeth and people were like, what? What is this? What happened? And so many questions. But that's what I was afraid of because I never want to make things personal. I know my trajectory has been the opposite of what happened. So because I had a public life before people started seeing my writing, they're going to create all those links and be like, oh, she wrote this about this person. And it's like, that's what makes me so vulnerable and so afraid because no one else gets questioned like that, right? How many songs does every artist have about something real personal that happened? I mean, they don't really get questioned about it like that. But because, like I said, my life was public first, and then I started writing about it. People can make those links, and it gives me anxiety because I'm not trying to like single anybody out or bring up the past or anything like that. But I do know that when you share stuff like that, other people can heal from that too, like hearing my experience because they've been through similar things, and that's why I release it, you know. But it's never personal about the person, like who it's about, like whether or not they think it is. It's not.
Is music still therapeutic to you?
Extremely. I think that's why I've been afraid to write lately because I know that the past 3 months I've been living alone. It's just me and my dog, and I'm afraid to see what I'm actually really feeling. I've been doing everything, but I've been reading, I've been exercising, I've been, you know, connecting with family and old friends and making sure everybody's okay. But all these feelings are just like bubbling up inside me. And I know that when it comes out, I'm going to be like, oh my God, like just writing. What does that mean? Why did I say that?
So you're like an extrovert type person then, pretty much.
I'm an introverted extrovert. I'm more extroverted than introverted, but I like being alone. I really value, that's like the most Gemini thing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it's Gemini season A. But yeah, so it's I'm very much an extrovert. I love people. I love talk. I can talk to anybody, any room. I'll make a conversation with whoever.
But how is somebody shy able to talk to anybody in the room?
That's the thing, is like I do things in spite of my anxiety. I think anxiety, a lot of people, and I get it because it's such a huge thing and it affects everybody differently and in different ways. But for me, I don't want it to control me, because I feel like my anxiety makes me kind of like a controlling type of person, you know, and it makes me want to, I don't know, like try to handle things that I really have no control over whatsoever. So, and I know that it's just like a nagging voice in your head, right? That's like, oh my God, like impending doom, like this gonna happen. But when you act in spite of it, you're like, oh, it's a liar. Like I still did it. I still got on stage anyway. I still delivered a great show. I made people laugh. And I just wanted to prove to myself that, you know, I can grow in spite of all those anxieties and still live a very productive, fruitful, like exciting life, you know.
Definitely. And then being that you have all these intangibles rolled into one, have you, and then being at home, you know, everybody's doing the whole in-home video or music videos and stuff like that. I don't know if you've seen Kehlani did it, and then a couple of like Tiana Taylor. And have you ever thought about doing any?
I think I did one first. I did one a week. I released one after quarantine. It's on my Instagram TV. I didn't really promote it too crazy because I was just like, I just want to make something for this and see if I could do it. But I did one for my song, Whatever. If you guys are listening, go check it out. It's on my Instagram TV. I filmed the whole thing in my house. That song is about, you know, the ways that like there's chaos going on and you lie to yourself to get through the madness. And like, oh, what better time to make a video about that than being in quarantine, you know? But yeah, I definitely want to do some more. I just ordered a bunch of equipment. I got to order a new camera. But I have like a bunch of stuff. Like I said, it's just about finding that inspiration to make these things. And, you know, I feel like it's coming. Like I've been wanting to write. That's the start. I'm like, oh, okay. So, but I've been like painting instead. We'll see. We'll see if I make another video.
Definitely. What are some subjects that you haven't touched on musically that you want to get into?
My family dynamics for sure. I think I'm one of 8 kids. My parents are both remarried, so I have 4 parents. We're kind of like the most functional, dysfunctional, in the most beautiful way, like family in the world. Like we've always been able to come together. Like my parents are still very friendly. My step parents are chill. I love them like they're like my biological parents. So I want to talk about that dynamic a little bit, but also I think I want to talk about the way that I hide, like not hide, but I don't really share a lot on my social media, like a lot of personal stuff. So I want to talk about my reasons why I've been single for like four years. Like a lot of people are so confused and they think it's like trauma or something, but it's like not. There are real reasons and philosophical reasons that I have of why I choose to be alone, and I would love to touch on that a bit.
All right. And then on Instagram, you've made a couple videos about pretty much dating in your 30s, like something that was going through. Like, how's dating been for you as far as quarantining? Even though you haven't been like going out and haven't really been, so how's that going on for you? How you been?
I'm still being social. I'll put it that way. I'm social. I love getting to know people. I'll get on FaceTime with whoever. Like, you want to, let's talk. Yeah, let's get on. I mean, I've been meeting people still through friends, through Instagram, people reaching out. But dating is, it's not fun for me. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people date as like a sport, right? Because they have a goal and they want to, and that makes sense to me. Like if your goal is to be married by a certain age, then you're going to go relationship, audition all these people, see if they fit like your criteria or whatever it is you're looking for. But because I don't have that goal, like marriage in mind, I kind of just date for fun. And I would love to find a lifetime partner. Like, I would love to find somebody who I want to share all these memories with and grow old with together. But do I think that that happens and everybody gets that lucky? Not inherently. So, yeah, that's how I feel.
But growing up, you've had I mean, at this stage now, you've had the high profile relationship, you've had the first love relationship, you've had the high school relationships. What have you learned about yourself going through all these trials?
I learned that, okay, I always grew up thinking that you need to find that person, that you need to be, married and kids by a certain age. And I dated a lot of people to fit this goal that I wasn't even sure that I was like, aiming towards, like I learned that I justified a lot of things and accepted a lot of behavior just because those goals were in the back of my head. I tolerated a lot more shit. And now that I'm like, wait a minute, do you really care about that? Do you really care about these things? And no, I don't. So therefore, I don't really get that far in dating. If I see something I don't like, I'm like, oh, okay, that was cool. It was nice talking to you. See you next time. See you around. Because there's no reason to justify shit. I don't put up a fight. You're
a savage pretty much when it comes to this whole dating.
That word. No, because I have a big heart. I really do. I want to care. But when I see something, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I don't know. I just don't have a high tolerance for bullshit. And I feel like a lot of guys, they struggle with as much anxiety as like maybe I do, but it makes them do weird stuff. Like right now, there's this, like, I don't want to single him out, but there's this like dude in my DMs who doesn't follow me, who DMs me every day and responds to every one of my stories. I'm like, what are you doing? Just follow me. Like, why you gotta play this game? Like, it's worse. And that's the kind of stuff I'm just like, come on, grow up. Everybody grow up. I want something that's like authentic and real. That's a real connection and a friendship. If I'm gonna do that, but till then, I'm just gonna have a bunch of friends.
Would you? I mean, even though you've done it already, would you do another high-profile relationship?
I probably. Nobody's ever gonna know if I'm dating anybody until I'm married. Like, I'm just gonna show up on the timeline with a wedding ring and be like, hey, I did it. I don't know if you can consider that high profile if it's a secret, but I don't ever want to have a public relationship until I'm married. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
So we just gonna pop up.
I feel like going through a public breakup, you have to relive that trauma all the time because fans will always like take a side and tell you what they think and assume.
Even the press that sit there and post your last relationship info before they post your new.
Yeah, I remember. Oh man, that happened with me and an ex and another high-profile celebrity. And you're like, oh, he left her for her, and I'm like, that is not what happened. Like, please, like that is not what happened. And I wish it was that simple. But then, like I said, it makes. And if there is like something that happened there that was maybe hurtful, then you have to keep reliving that moment over and over again. But my notifications turned on. So even if that was to happen, like I wouldn't see, I don't read Twitter mentions. I don't read tweets unless I'm like tweeting myself and I'm looking for the response. I don't go down my timeline on Instagram because I feel like Instagram is just like the algorithms are toxic because they post what they think you want to see, which is another thing. And then press, and I don't know. I just feel like you ever go through a breakup and then go on your Instagram and all the memes are like about exactly what just happened to you?
Yeah.
I just don't. Social media, press, all that stuff is just such a bad combination of things. I think people should keep their relationships private, to be honest with you. Yeah, I feel like more people would benefit from private relationships.
Oh, okay. And then back to the music, being that you put everything into the music and comedy, like what is it like, or what is your favorite song that you've written for yourself? And then what is it like just performing and seeing people react to the energy that you're giving out, pretty much revealing yourself to the world, like, here I am, this is my story, this is what I've been through. Like, these are my inner thoughts of what I thought while I was going through it. What is it like just seeing like people in the crowd just like look up at you and just react and have that, like that, see you give that type of aura off just to people?
So my favorite song to perform is Elizabeth. I always open with that one because I feel like it's the most relatable song. Everybody's lost a friend at some point, you know, has a friendship, and it's catchy. I told you I hated that song up until the day it came out, and I called Rudy and I was like, how come you didn't tell me the song is so good? He's like, I told you to put it out first. But I love that song. I think just because it's so raw and real, and that's what I love about, like, when I listen to artists, I'm looking for that like real experience and that thing that actually happened, that like pivotal moment in their lives that changed them for, you know, whatever reason. And that song gives me that. That song is that for me. That was the moment where things changed for me. Like that actual, everything that happened in that song that I wrote about, that was a defining moment in my life. So I love performing that one because it feels like, wow, this was something that really sucked at one point. And here I am on stage in front of hundreds of people and they're singing all the words with me. What a crazy switch, like going, like crying in my room, writing these lyrics, to being on stage excited that people are singing them with me. You know, that's the most rewarding thing out of all of it, is that the way it affects other people and they tell you that it means something to them and you're like, oh, there is a purpose for my art. There is a reason for this, you know? So yeah, that's probably that. And I wrote a song with this producer, Anwar Sawyer, recently called Toxic. And I love that song so much. And I can't wait for that one to come out. That's my favorite. Yeah.
And you were touring like shortly before, like last year or around this time last year, and then now, like, how do you feel?
That was actually this year. That was right before this all happened. That was this year.
Oh, so what did you learn about? I mean, this is your first tour, right? Correct? Or?
Yeah. It's so. What did I learn on tour? I learned that if you can tour with your friends, go. Am I here? Okay, sorry. If you can tour with your friends or do something or travel with your friends and pick key cities, that's like the greatest experience you're ever going to get in your life. I learned that I need to work out more because to keep up the energy. And yeah, I learned that no matter, I tour with like my two friends, right? And we all have such different like styles of music and writing, and the way we like to play live even was so vastly different between the three of us. So I learned that no matter what it is, that like as long as you're being like your true self on stage and you guys are all performing for the same audience, the audience can still connect even if it's not why they came, if what you're doing is real. So that's what I learned from that. And I'm just really grateful that I got to tour right before quarantine, because that was January. I started off with a sold out New York show, which is my hometown, which is crazy, at Pianos. That was my first hometown show, and I sold it out. That was insane. And I learned that I want to do that a lot more often. I had 17 shows lined up this summer that all got canceled or postponed. So it broke my heart. But on the other hand, it's like, if we can save lives by not having these events, then I would never want to put anybody at risk. Because yeah, this is a real thing that's happening. People are denying it. But I mean, even if they said we can do concerts this summer, I probably would opt out anyway, just to make sure.
That would just be like your your shyness just creeping in, or your anxiety being like, yeah, it's not safe. But
yeah, it's not safe. No.
Everybody took it pretty much like as a joke, or like not, or nonchalant at first. But in your point of view, how did you, like, when it got serious, how did you take all this going in?
The coronavirus?
Yeah.
It was devastating. Like looking at videos, you know, I think it hit other countries a lot harder before it hit us, or it all settled in here. And watching the videos from like Italy and how everybody was coming together and singing on their balconies and all that, it kind of restored my faith in humanity for a little while, up until recently, seeing people protesting, not wanting to wear masks, going to parties, me getting invited to parties in the hills just yesterday. You know, like, it sucks. But when it first happened, I don't think anybody thought it would, anybody anticipated that it would last for this long. Like, California just got a stay-at-home order for 3 more months, you know, so that's going to be 6 months so far. yeah, it was kind of just, it didn't feel real, and I panicked. I was definitely panicking, heart palpitations the first few weeks. I made that music video in my house, the first week, just to distract myself from like what was going on. But then when I started, getting deeper into it, I started realizing that, there are greater things to worry about than yourself. No matter what it feels like you're going through, someone always has it worse. And it kind of just made me remember that like everything else was literally just a privilege and a gift, and this could even be 10 times worse. And it's like we got to do what we can to come together right now and put all the politics aside and just try to be there for each other. But it's really disheartening when you see that people don't have the same heart that you have, and they're not being as considerate. So it's just like weighing on me. Yeah.
So this party in the hills, like, so.
Yeah, like, so back to the party. It's like people DMing me, like, let me know if you want like the invite. I'm like, yeah, me and my friends are saying, give us the invite so that we can go and egg your house. Like, how dare you? It's disgusting. And it's like, all right, if all those people in that house get sick, that they asked for it, right? But that's not the issue. People are like, well, let them get sick. It's like, okay, well, if they get sick, these assholes are going to spread it to other people. Can I curse? I'm sorry. Yeah. They're going to spread it to other people, So that's what bothers me about it. But there's so many of them. I realize that I don't need to be friends with everybody. I'm allowed to draw a line in the sand and be like, you crossed the line. I don't like what you're doing. I don't want to be friends with somebody who doesn't have empathy or basic consideration for people. Like I said earlier, I really love people. I live for making people happy and using my experiences to like relate to them and heal and help. And I love all that. So it just sucks that not everybody shares that mentality,
No doubt. And then being that you have been quarantined and you've been, stuck at home, one, how is your cooking skills improved? And two, what have you been thinking about as far as like the album, like as far as making the album?
Oh, I know exactly what my album to sound like. And I'm so excited because it's the album I always wanted to make since I was like 7. So like growing up listening to like En Vogue and Janet Jackson and all those like fun, strong feminist vibes of still sultry and sexy and just like, I know exactly what I want to sound like sonically. What was the other question? Oh, my culinary skills. Okay, yeah. So that I have been thinking about the album. I know who I want to do it with, this producer, Anwar Sawyer, that when I told you about my favorite song recently. But he's in New York, so I have to wait until I can get back and we can record safely. But we already did 3 songs, and I don't want to put them out until there is an album. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, my cooking, man, remember I told you the Gemini thing? It's always Gemini season in this house. I'll have days where I'll make like stuffed artichoke, like chicken franchise, delicious pasta, like just pulling out all the stops. And then other days I'm like stabbing a baked potato, putting it in the microwave, and just like, throwing it in the pan after, mashing it, putting it, just making like the weirdest food.
Dinner.
That only I think people who smoke eat. Yeah. I'm like, everything tastes good after you smoke, so it's fine. So some days I try harder than others. My mom cracks up. She's like, what are you making tonight? I'm like, you don't corned beef hash over rice. Don't ask.
No doubt. And then as far as like going back to the album like concept, how do you balance what the fans want and what you want when it comes to making music?
The fans want what I want. A real fan wants what you want. They want you to be happy, and I feel like a lot of artists get lost when they try to cater to their fans, right? Instead of doing the thing that actually made them who they are, or evolving on their own, in their own way, in their own time. They think about what's hot, and they do it for numbers. And because I'm not big enough, I just started to play in the numbers game. I have the luxury of making whatever the fuck I want to make, right? So I am not thinking about what people want to hear. In fact, I get told all the time, ooh, 90s, is that back? I'm like, shut up. It's back when I bring it back. I don't care if you think it's back or not. It doesn't matter to me. You should only be making what your sensibilities are, right? And all I know is very specific, like early 90s girl groups, R&B, like that's my wheelhouse and that's my stuff. That's what I grew up listening to. And it wouldn't work if I tried to make songs like Meg Thee Stallion or, you know, it wouldn't be the same. People would know it was fake, you know? But I think when people see somebody and really enjoying what they're doing and having fun and making the appropriate videos to accompany it, they're like, oh, I get it, I see it. And then you don't have to change, you know, who you are. I've already done that. I feel like I've already had a career where I was doing all these things that made people happy and it was putting money in my pocket. But because it wasn't my passion, I don't want to like go through another, you know, period of time where I don't feel like I'm living in my truth. I really am I'm mature, I'm wiser now, and I just want to do the things that finally like really make me happy and make me excited. And if that means that the 18-year-olds aren't going to listen because they're listening to Doja Cat, I'm like, cool, that's great, you know. But if it means that my audience is going to be a little mature, a little bit more niche, like I'm cool with that too. Because yeah, it's not about that, you know. Like I said, my ultimate goal is not to be the biggest, most outselling, like #1 artist in the world. That'd be amazing. But I really ultimately just love writing. Writing is the thing that I always wanted to do, and I think I'm actually good at it. So yeah, it's not about, I love my fans. It's not about what they want. They don't even like R&B, half my fans. They're like, what is this? Because they're just a bunch of dudes who read Maxim 5-10 years ago, you know? So it's like, I have to remember that. And, you know, and the fact that I am getting as many streams as I am and getting the support that I'm getting, even though it's not their thing and people are sharing it and it's growing on its own, makes me so proud and so happy. And I feel like it's very reassuring for the direction that I want to go in. It feels good.
And then definitely saying that you like grew up on like the Janet Jacksons, the people in the 90s, like even the Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera's, I'm sure, and whatnot. Like,
icons, girls, yeah, Mariah. Mm-hmm.
With everything going on with the popular versus battles trends, if you could make one versus battle, who would it be? Like, who would be against who?
Ooh, oh my God, if I could make one, that's a really good question. Probably, maybe Missy Elliott and Kim would be fun. I don't know. You really can't put Missy against that many people, I feel like. She's got such a, that's like just what I grew up listening to, so I love her. Maybe, ooh, okay. By the way, I'm so mad I missed like half of the 112 Jagged Edge one yesterday because Jagged Edge is my favorite group of all time. Okay, let me think. Ooh, man, this is really hard. Probably, oh yeah, just for my own entertainment, like what I would really enjoy seeing, even though they don't really, it's not the same. Probably Janet and Mariah, just so that I could scream the whole time. I just literally just screamed. Oh, she's winning. No, she's winning. No, she's winning. But
being that
that'd be fun
being that Missy is your favorite, rap a Missy verse. Rap your favorite Missy verse.
My favorite Missy verse. Rap a Missy verse. I don't know. I like All in My Grill. Like I like when she sings. Like she's singing like Hot Boys, All in My Grill, all that. All in My Grill is probably my favorite song of all time.
That's good one. That's a deep cut right there. Not many people know about that.
I love when Missy raps, don't get me wrong, but when she sings, I love her melodies, how catchy they are. I love her voice. I think it's so sultry and sexy. And I love how she owns her sexuality and sensuality. And she was really a pioneer in so many ways. And I feel like people don't give her the credit that she deserves. And she produced so many songs for so many of my favorite girl groups that the people don't even talk about today. Oh, what about a verses with like 702 in total? How fun would that be?
That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting right there.
That'd be cool.
You got it. You got it.
That'd be cool, actually. But yeah, I really love her. I don't know if I'm gonna sing. I'm still having coffee.
702, who would win? Who would you
What
think would take it? Out of 702 in total, who you think would take it?
Probably 702. I think when they put on "Where My Girls At," it would be over. Everybody would, because that's the song everybody knows, you know. But I love both, and I respect both so much.
Facts. And then you said Jagged Edge was also your favorite group. So what is your favorite Jagged Edge song?
Probably "He Can't Love You." I don't know why I love that song so much. I can't even relate to it because no one's competing or fighting for my love right now. A girl could dream.
Girl, you gotta hold the end. You gotta hold the
end. Maybe there's like a secret unknown competition I'm completely unaware of. But I love "He Can't Love You" and I love "Promise." "Promise" is one of the great. Their harmonies, everything, just the quality and the tonality of their voices and the way they fit together, and it's beautiful. I need to go see them live. I hope they do a versus tour. That'd be so fun.
That's in the works. They talked about it, so definitely.
I hope so.
Yeah. So who'd you have in the 112 Jagged Edge battle last night? Who was your favorite? You was picking for.
I love Jagged Edge. But then it's like so hard because then you hear like "It's Over Now" and I'm like, oh, what is this number? I'm like, oh fuck, oh my god, I'm screaming. But I like I said, I love and respect both. But what I prefer to listen to and what I do listen to, like when I'm cooking or when I'm just having like a chill night, I put on Jagged Edge just because their melodies, it's like lullabies and just beautiful. It's like gospel, but it's romantic, and it's just like all these like amazing, beautiful qualities and like these like soulful, gorgeous voices that I could never ever sing like. And it's aspirational, inspirational. It's beautiful. I'm like, guys don't write songs in this anymore. Everyone's afraid of being a simp. And I'm like, I'm probably gonna marry a simp.
Oh man, that's cold. And then
I hate that term, by the way. It's so stupid.
Hey,
stupid. There's nothing wrong with what you want to be a sociopath who doesn't have any feelings. Like that's sexy.
So it's not really tricking if you got it.
No, it's not.
Okay. And then being that you grew up in the 90s, early 2000s, like what is a song that you could, if you had the opportunity to remake, you would remake? What song would it be?
Any song that I could remake. Well, since we're on the topic, no Scrubs.
Oh, but who would be your two? Who would be your two?
It would be a remix though. Like I want my own verse because I have my own experience.
So you would be the left eye. You would be the left eye, but who would be the
never? Nobody could be left eye, but I would definitely. They would need to make the song like another 45 seconds long because I have some things I want to say. No, honestly, in all seriousness, it would probably be like a Janet Jackson song, or like maybe like Again. I love that song. I love ballads. I'm so cheesy. Right? No one listens to ballads. I love ballads.
All right, and then being that Thisis50, and then being that you've been around for a long time, you have a 50 Cent story?
Do I have a 50 Cent story? Let me think. I remember the first time I heard 50 Cent, I was in Brooklyn on Avenue U, walking to McDonald's on, I think, Ocean Avenue, and I heard somebody blasting, what was the first one that came out? Was it not Birthday? In the club, yeah. And I was like, what is this? And my sister and I went home, we put the radio on, and we were like, I've never heard anything like this in my life. I don't know what about it was so different, but it was so fun. And I remember, because that was like when Eminem was like real big, like at the height of like his career and everything. And I shortly moved from Brooklyn to Staten Island after. And this is not a 50 Cent story. I don't even know why I'm saying this, but I remember I moved to like a white neighborhood. I remember I would just like make beats for like on Fruity Loops like 2.0 for all the dudes who wanted to be like Eminem in my white school and sell them for like 50 bucks a pop. But I don't have a 50 Cent story per se. I just remember feeling like everything he wrote was so catchy and was just like, man, every song he wrote at that time, like when he first came out, just hit. Like the hooks were so big and catchy and fun, and yeah, I don't know. I really appreciate what he did.
But being a model, that you haven't had any chances to be in any of the videos, like you weren't.
No, I don't think I qualify. I don't have like, you know, I'm not thick at all. I don't have a nice booty. I don't. I'm really tiny. I feel like, I don't know. No one wants to see me in a G-string. I don't want to see myself in a G-string. I could never, I wish I could. I would. But yeah, I never really, no, I don't think I have a 50 Cent story at all. I'm sad. I need one. Tell him to hit me up. Tell him to roast me, because if he roasts me, then my music streams will go up.
You know what? That could be a place, I'm sure.
Wait, maybe I should borrow some money from him.
Oh, but you gotta have it back by Monday. You're gonna have to have it back
in this economy.
No doubt. Now, so being that you have to head back home to finish up or to begin or finish up the project, but who gave you the best advice when it came to creating music?
I feel like everybody thinks that they give such good advice. Honestly, my mother, the person who knows the least about it, because everybody who does music, who gives you advice, I'm sure they mean it, but they're speaking from their experiences, right? And then other people who've maybe never had success in that will project their insecurities onto you and be like, well, maybe you should do this, or you should do that, or don't put out 90s sounding songs. Like, no one cares about the 90s. And I'm just like, screw you. I don't care. It's not like, so I feel like people, whether or not they mean to, and more often than not, when people give you advice, whether or not it's good advice or bad advice, it's them projecting based off their own perspectives and experiences, right? So you really can't listen to anybody, because it never happens the same way twice. Literally every major artist that you could think of that's like resting in the forefront of your mind none of them have the same story. So what I learned was to not think about what my story is going to be. You can't plan it. You have no idea like when it's going to happen or take off, or if it's ever going to happen. And all you could do is do what's authentic. And then I feel like the way I can save face and not ever be embarrassed by the things that I did was if I did what was really true to my heart at the time. And my mother always told me that. So I would say she gave me the best advice.
No doubt. And then is there an unreleased song that we haven't heard yet that you may have had your heart's desire to release during this whole quarantine to keep people fed while they listen?
I really want to. I might end up putting out a mixtape soon, just because I do want to work towards my album, and I don't want to release any more songs because the stuff that I've been writing has been so thematic, and I want to keep that, and I think that's perfect for writing an album. But I don't want to release anything until I have something completed. So I was thinking of maybe making a mixtape, but yeah, I've been writing, and there's a song I really want to put out soon, but I feel like I should save it because I think it's important to not cannibalize your streams by keeping like releasing music, especially in a time where music is so iffy, and I don't know, every day is different from the last in quarantine, and people are feeling all these different ways. And I don't want to cannibalize anything like that. I just want to like let them live and leave what's out on my Spotify now. Just let it sit there for a minute, let people digest it, see how they feel, if they like it, if they want to share it. But in the meantime, I'm just over here plotting and scheming and praying that we can, you know, get out of here soon, and trying to make a plan for when this is all over. So, you know, what to do next. But yeah, I think I just ordered a bunch of equipment, so I think I want to make a mixtape.
No doubt. And then, like, with everything going on, and then, like you said, when it's uplifted, what is the first thing you plan on doing when you get out of quarantine?
The first thing I plan on doing is hugging my family. I'm definitely going to buy a ticket home. I'm moving. I'm getting out of LA. I love LA. It was fun. I've been here for 5 years, but I feel like at this point it's served its purpose, and I'm ready to get back to New York and the hustle and bustle of everything. And I've made some really great connections here that will last a lifetime. And yeah, I'm ready to go back to my roots and just I want to make music with my dad. I want to go stop taking things for granted. It makes me realize that, like, if you have something that you want to do, just act on it. Just go do it, because you don't know when this is going to ever happen again. Who even thought this was possible, right? I mean, no one even thought this was a possibility. No one thought that their summer would look like this, Memorial Day weekend, they'd be inside the house, you know? So I just want to fly back to New York and do spontaneous shit every day for the rest of my life, and be inspired and also inspire others along the way.
No doubt. And then anything you want to tell the fans before we get out of here? Anything you want to let them know?
Stay home, please. If you don't have to go out, please. I know it's hard. I've been by myself for 3 months since March 11th. I haven't even had a high five. Okay, like I haven't set foot in a grocery store because I'm immunocompromised, so I have to get my stuff delivered if I can get delivery. It's been crazy. So stay home. It's not over just because you're bored. I can't wait to release more new music. Thanks for even listening to this interview and going to check out some of my stuff. I hope you guys like it, and please just stay safe. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, if you guys don't know, we got Melanie Iglesias here. You know, check out her music, Life is a Bee, Obvious, Context. Mr. Magoo is her latest. You know, that's the one you guys really need to check out. And she makes a video for that. You gotta
Which one's your favorite?
You gotta put Mr. Magoo in the video. If you have
Okay.
you gotta have a clip, a cartoon clip. I mean, I know you might get sued or something like that, but look, you gotta make the efforts. Actually, my favorite out of all of them is Tell Me.
Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah.
The attitude, tell him. Yeah. That's crazy. I didn't think, I almost, nah, never mind.
I like girls with a little spice to them. It's all right.
Little.
So, but yeah, that's my favorite. I mean, everybody has a different preference.
Yeah, it's true. It's crazy. Everybody does have a different preference. That's why nobody's opinions matters. Follow it. Do what you want.
No doubt. And then hopefully we get to see you on stage doing stand-up sometime soon. You know, maybe even before you leave LA, who knows? You know, you might that might be your farewell trip, you know? Like
And I'll always be back. But yeah, I love performing here. I love being here. But there's nothing like New York, you know? So, but yeah, thank you. I'm excited. Thanks for doing this.
no problem. All right, man. Everybody, we out of here. This is 50. Check out the complete interview on Instagram Live or Instagram TV, and then go to her page and watch her videos. She has these 30 and dating pretty much.
30 and single.
Yeah, 30 and single, and those are hilarious. And the music is fire. So, all right, man, we out of here. Peace.